All right, so we're here to review and learn about modeling quadratics area problem fence. So number one, you have 500-foot roll of fencing in a large field. You want to construct a rectangular playground area. What are the dimensions of the largest such yard, and what is the largest area? So we know that we have perimeter is going to be the most is 500 foot, right? And we know that the perimeter, the formal perimeter is twice the length plus twice the width. Why is it so? Because in a rectangular area, you have two lengths and two width, right? That's why 2L plus 2W. So we know that 500 is equal to P, so I can plug in 500 equals 2L plus 2W. So simplify this one here. This will give us divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. This will give us 250 equals L plus W. That means when you add the length and the width, has to be equal to 250, right? So we can decide here if we would like to isolate the L or the W. It doesn't really matter which one here because the length and the width can be they're interchangeable, okay? So let's say let's solve for W. So I'm going to subtract L here, subtract L here. That will give us W is equal to 250 minus L. Okay. Do you find the area again? The area is length times width, right? The length is the length. The W is right here, which is 250 minus L. It's like substitution method. So this will give us, the area will give us L times 250 minus L. If I distribute the L, what happened, guys? This becomes 250 L minus L squared. And that equation there, guys, can you see it? That is, what's the highest exponent of my L here, or my equation? What's the degree of my equation here? Squared. That means it's quadratic. It's modeling quadratic. That's why it's quadratic here, okay? So from here, we can find the value of L here. Do you follow? How? If we rewrite this one in a standard form, it will be negative L squared plus 250L. We know that the A there is negative 1. The B here is 250, right? How do you find the formula for the vertex, guys? I'm not going to write X here. I'm going to write here L equals negative B over 2A, right? What is B here? The B here is negative 250 over 2 times negative 1. Can you solve for the L here, please? We get 120. Oops, what happened? We get here 125 feet. Understood? Now, since we found the L, the length is 125 feet, how do you find the width? We're going to plug in this 125, which is your L, to the L right here. Because W is equal to 250 minus L. So I'm going to plug in the 125 there. That will give me 250 minus 125 is equal to W. So therefore, the width is 125 feet also. Right? So what kind of figure are we dealing here? This is a square. Because now, the question here, what are dimensions? So we have answered that portion already, that the answer is 125 feet by 125 feet, right? What is the largest area? The largest area here is when you plug in the 125, the L, you're going to plug it right here to the equation here. Why? Remember how you find the vertex? When you find the vertex, we use the formula x equals negative b over 2a. What do you do next? Let's say once you find the value of x is 125, what do you do next with 125? You plug in the 125 to the equation, right? Okay, so let's plug in the 125 to the equation here, to the L there, and see if we're going to have... So this will be 250 times 125 close minus 125 close squared. That will give us the maximum area here after you plug in the 125 to the L. That will give us 15,625 feet squared because it's an area. The owner of a ranch decide to enclose a rectangular region of 140 feet. So fencing. So we know the perimeter is 140, right? To help the fencing cover more land, he plans to use one side of his barn. So imagine you have a barn here. Let's say this is the barn, Barn. One of his he plans to use one side of his barn as part of the enclosure region. So guys, look at this. This is the fencing part. The pink one is the fencing part. So imagine if this is your fencing, how many length do you have? Let's say this is the length. You have one length and you have how many width? You cannot count it. Obviously, you're not gonna use this one here as part of your fence because it says here that he plans to use one side of his barn as part of the enclosed region. So here the perimeter changes. The formula for perimeter changes. What's the formula for perimeter now here? 2W plus L. Very good. But how much perimeter he has only? He has 140, remember, of fencing? So 140 is equal to 2W plus L. And now we're going to solve for the L here. You're going to move the 2W to the left. That gives you 140 minus 2W equals L. Right? So you know that the L is 140 minus twice the width. Following? Now, let's find the area. Remember, the question here is what's the maximum area? So what's the form for area? Length times width, right? Now, what is this? That's letter L. That's letter L. So I can plug in the 140 minus 2W right there. That gives us 140 minus 2W times W. W is equal to W. And then what do I do with this W here? Distribute. So 140 minus W minus 2W squared. So therefore, our equation now here is area is negative 2W squared plus 140W. Because I like to write it in a standard form. So the value of A here is negative 2. The value of B is 140. Right? Any questions so far? So what I do? The formula for the vertex is W is equal to negative B over 2A. This is negative 140 over 2 times negative 2. What do you get here, guys? Negative 140 divided by negative 4 because 2 times negative 2. So the value of W here is 35 feet. Now here's the problem, Ethan. You said this is 35 here, right? Should you say that this will be a square? Probably not, right? So what we need to do, but to be sure, maybe, maybe I don't want to say yes or no, but for me to be sure, I need to plug in the 35 to the equation, right? That's how we do it, right? When we do the vertex, to plug it to the W. So A equals negative 2, 35 squared plus 140 times W. So that will give us negative 2 times 35 close squared plus 140 times W there is 35. This should have been 35 here. What do you get, sir?
I got 70.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
70 like first. Right.
For the length, yeah, right. Yeah, if you plug in the 35 here, you will get 70. Is 70 times 35?
Yeah,
Well, it's the same thing, right? Very good. So 2,450 feet squared. Don't forget the feet squared because it's an area. Yeah, you're right. So what Ethan is saying here, if you plug in a 35 there, that will give you 140 minus 2 times 35 is equal to L. That will give you 140 minus 70 equals L. So therefore, the length is 70. So if you put the 70 here, you multiply 70 and 35, that still give you the same area there, which is good, That's right. Good job, Ethan. Rectangular pen is made of 40-meter fencing on 3 sides. The fourth side, no. We did similar. We did number 6, Okay. Suppose you have 102-meter of fencing to make 2 sides by side rectangular enclosure. What are the dimensions of the largest possible area and what is the largest area? So the perimeter here is 102. This is a little different now. Okay, you have two rectangular side by side. So if you have a two rectangular side by side like this, let's say this is my W, that's W, that's W, right? Now, the length, everyone listen here, the length will be just one here and this one over on this side. It covers the entire length there. You don't have four length there. I think yesterday I mentioned that there are four length. Okay. So you finish? Okay. Thank you. So the perimeter now is 2L plus 3W. Make sense? The amount of fencing we have is 102. So plug in 102 here equals 2L plus 3W. Have a good day. I am going to, which one do you want to solve? L or W? L. So I'm going to move the 3W there. This will become 102 minus 3W equals 2L. Divide everything here by 2. 2, 2, 2. That will give us what? How much? 51, right? Minus 3 halves W equals L. Applying the formula of area, we know area is length times width. We get here 51 minus 3 halves of W times W, right? Is equal to the area. You can distribute the W there. That will give you 51W minus 3 halves W squared. So that's your equation. Now, remember, guys, that you are allowed to use graphing calculator to find the vertex. Okay, using the y equals and plug in the equation and find the maximum over there. Okay, but since we're doing it manually here, I'll show to you x, not x, it has to be w. W is equal to negative b. Oh, by the way, this is the b and that's the a, right? Negative 51 over 3. What's 3 halves? 3 halves is negative 1.5. Do you agree? Negative 2, negative b over 2a. A is 3 halves, right? Yes? W, how much will this give us?
Um,
51 divided by 3 will be 17 meters. Okay, pause. To the equation, right?
well, I was plugging into the.
Oh, yeah. To which one? This,
No, to the drawing.
to, where? Oh, here?
No, the-
At the draw, but there are 3 of W there. I'll put it here. See, not on the equation. So that will give us what now? 51 minus 1.5 times 17. That will give us 25.5. So what did I do? 51 minus 3 halves times 17. That will give us the length is 25.5. So what's the question? What are the dimensions of the largest possible area
For both of them?
for the entire thing?
Okay, so it'd be length times width.
Yes. And this will be 17 here. This will be 17. That will be 17 there. This will be 25.5, right? Okay. For us to check if our answer is right, if you add the 17 here, 17, 17, and this 25.5, right? And this is also has to be 25.5, right? If you add all of the three of them, it should be equal to 102. Look at this one, 17 plus 17 plus 17. That's going to be 51. 25.5 plus 25.5 is equal to 51. That's equal to 102. So what's the maximum area here, Ethan? That will give us 25.5 times 17. That will give us how much? 433.5 meters squared. Okay, there you have it.